So let's talk. Why don't you start again? What was you said the other day you had an experience with a potential client that came in for a taster session of sorts,
Yeah.
but it didn't go so well.
No. So the actual taster went really well, it went to plan, but at the end of the session I didn't know how to address rebooking them back in, how many sessions they want to come back in for. So I guess I sort of panicked.
Okay.
I had an email to send to her anyway with some exercises for her to do at home, so I added that onto the email. So we never actually had any one-to-one contact talking about it, and now she's sort of gone away to think about it, and now I'm left uncertain whether she's going to rebook or not.
Okay. So let's wind back through the levels, because there are certain steps you need to go through in order to clarify, first of all, is this a person with a problem or a goal that I can help with? And then there's a process that unravels beyond that, or from that, that will help you lead to a point when actually they say to you, right, how do I move this forward?
Okay.
So the fact that there was ambiguity and lack of clarity about where to go, it means that you didn't quite manage the process well enough.
Mm-hmm.
So clarity is an important thing we need to bear in mind when we're talking about this scenario and when you're conducting this taster. Clarity in where you are in the process together of figuring out a problem or a solution to the problem.
Okay.
So what was her goal or problem?
She has chronic lower back pain. She's had it for most of her life. She's actually a young lady, but her flexibility is very bad, and she knows that for her age she should be moving a lot better.
Okay.
She wants to go out all the time. She can't. She wants to do weight training. She can't because of her back.
Yeah.
And she did come into a class once very upset because of her back. So it's clearly an issue that she wants to get sorted.
Okay. So you've identified the problem.
Yeah.
And clearly it's emotionally driven, like it means a lot to her. So those are big ticks, i.e., you're a therapist, you're a Pilates instructor, so you've got a lot of knowledge as to how to deal with that. And it's also something that she's clearly frustrated by. And you were talking and understanding with that. Do you feel like she knew that you understood?
Probably could have been slightly more sympathetic.
Okay.
And as we spoke about before, when she told me about her issues, I probably didn't go back and clarify that I understand.
Okay.
Which is why I think she knew that I cared. She knew that I understood, because of course I offered her the help. She knows that I want to help her. But I didn't go back and clarify to her that I understand that she's got lower back pain, that I understand that she's upset about it. So this is where I could have gone a bit better.
Okay, so that's the first stage of clarifying.
Yeah.
Not just this serves two purposes. The first is once you've asked all the questions, you've done your assessments, you've listened and you've collected the information. What you need to do for yourself, first of all, is repeat it back so that you understand. You put all the facts in line, you pull in the objective and the subjective assessments all together, and you say, right, let me check my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're doing that for yourself, but you're also doing it back to her, in front of her, so that she knows that you've understood.
Okay.
Because you can then ask, have I missed anything? Did I not hear something, or is there something you haven't told me yet that I need to know to formulate the picture that I've got in my head now of you?
Okay.
Your story in your journey towards attaining a better level of health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one key stage. Now the next bit is important. What we talked about earlier is the permission to make a suggestion. So what you're doing here is you're saying, I have a plan in my head of how I can help you at some level. And I'll get to, the plan may be expansive or it may be small. That's okay. And it's fine to start small if you're not 100% sure. We'll come back to that. But this question, when you say, can I make a suggestion? This is what I said to you earlier, in that it means I'm not selling to you, I'm asking permission to make a suggestion. No one likes to be sold to, but they do love to buy into things that they know will help them and they will benefit from. So ask that question, and most likely they will say yes. And now's the time to make your plan. And I don't believe, it sounds like you didn't do this.
No.
So tell me now, what would your plan be if she was here now and she was willing to go? What would you do first? What would your steps be to help her overcome this problem?
I'd book her in for a full assessment. So she only came in for a taster. She just wanted it treated. She just wanted some relief. She wasn't interested in the assessment.
Great.
So I'd get her in, assess, double check what's actually causing the pain for her,
Brilliant.
and then I'd offer further sessions. It's been chronic. It's been going on for a long time. So she needs a few more sessions to really ease the tension off, and possibly do more work rehab based rather than just massage based.
Great. So the plan's in your head.
Yeah.
You knew the plan. That came straight out. That
I
was
just
smooth,
didn't know how to
right?
put it across.
So that, first of all, that little question is a nice linker. It links you into giving your plan. So can I make a suggestion? She says yes.
Yeah.
You say, what I understood there is the next stage is a full assessment. That's the next stage. Because you don't know yet, without that full assessment, what exactly you would do.
Yeah.
You're confident that you'd be able to figure it out, but you don't know exactly yet.
Yeah.
So what I would have suggested would have been, the next stage is to do a full assessment. And in that assessment, and then you say what you just said. And then you say, how does that sound? Now, if you've done everything up to that point, you've listened, you've understood, you've been sympathetic, you've repeated back to prove that you've listened and to clarify for your own head that you've got all the information. And then you've asked, can I make a suggestion? She's going to say yes if you've been kind and you've listened and you've been sympathetic. And then you make a suggestion, and it makes sense, it's logical. There's a problem, and I need to understand the problem, and that's your next stage. So you may not have decided in that instance to sell any more than one session, or to suggest any more than one session, because that's the next natural step. You would then repeat the whole thing in that assessment a week later.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you would, like we discussed earlier, the 8 stages. The first is you state the objective. So next week when you meet this person, the goal is she comes in and you say the objective today is to perform the full assessment. I've got a series of tests that will help inform us on what's going on with your body, why it's not functioning the way that it should be, and we're going to go ahead and do that. You do the assessment that might take you 45 minutes, let's say, and then at the end you perform the same thing. So you say, okay, here's what I found. How did you find that today? What did you feel in the assessments that we did?
Okay.
Here's my professional review and evaluation of the plan. So you say, can I suggest a plan? You say, yeah, of course, Amanda, no problem. So I suggest the plan with the steps involved. So now you say, you start to feel like there should be more rehab. I might need to do some more massage. I might need to do some more this and more that. And all that's going to formulate once you've got your full assessment. So you say, I suggest we do 4 sessions together over the next couple of weeks to do this, 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 and this. How does that sound? Yeah?
Okay.
And then she says, that sounds great. If you've done it logically and you've taken her through the steps, and then you declare your excitement and your interest to want to work with her because this was why you got qualified in the first place.
Of course, yeah.
And then you get the diary out and you think, right, let's get this next session booked in.
Okay.
Does that help?
100%.
Cool.
I can do that. I'll give it a go.
All right. Okay, you've got to go.